My table is brought out. So I got.
Think we're seeing it.
Did you have any items for us to go through?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, Tony, just give me a nod when you're ready.
Okay, working on it.
Take your time.
I think I've never done this
My
before.
words are a long way.
Zero.
My, I also. Got one of my guys.
Your sign-in sheet?
My disc. No, I just keep it back. I
Okay.
left the disc for my, it won't work without it.
Okay.
Sorry.
I don't usually use what, gavel?
Yeah.
Is that what he wants? A gavel. I don't want it.
He's got a stamp. You just get that.
Right. While we're waiting, why don't you introduce us to your new
Oh,
people?
so this is Stephen Smedley, our news planner too.
Hello.
An easy address for Mr. Sapp.
Okay.
Nice to meet you guys.
Likewise, thank you for being here. And Adam's new-ish. Is this your second meeting?
Third.
Third? Oh, I guess I missed a meeting. You and I missed a meeting.
Yes, you did, for last meeting.
We didn't plan it together, but like I texted you and I was like, I won't be there. You said I won't be there either. Guys, we're going to start in just a little bit. We're waiting on the stenographer. Is that what they're titled? Court reporter to gather the rest of her information, and we'll be starting here shortly. So thank you for your patience. That is a term, right? Stenographer.
Yeah.
Is that a real thing? I mean, like stenographer is a real thing, but is a court reporter?
That's just.
We have.
This would be a stenographer and a quarter.
But on the court.
Oh.
Right. That's what it is.
Same thing.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Well, there we go.
Same school, same,
Yep.
all that stuff, but
This, the playground you play in might be different from
yeah,
mine.
I don't know what to call myself.
I just called you a stenographer, so there you go.
Whatever you want, well, just about anything you want. All right, I'm ready.
Okay. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Columbus Board of Adjustment meeting for April 26th. We are going to ask that all people that are preparing to give testimony this evening stand at this time so that you can be sworn in as a group. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you'll provide this evening is the truth to the best of your knowledge and belief? If so, say I do.
I do.
Thank you. We will hear BZA cases this evening. We have no appeals this evening. Okay, we do have a few preliminary items that I'll ask the staff to go over with us now.
Thank you, Chairman Jones. The first one is a request to extend a board order that was approved in one. Case BZA 21019.
Austin Code 8090 Old Danger River Road.
Okay. Please step up and we know you've been sworn, but you just got sworn in and sign your name after we're done. But go ahead and present for us.
I'm just looking to extend my zoning approval from last year. The expiration is coming up on Friday and need a little more time to get things through the building permit.
Like 6 months, a year, how long?
Hopefully it was 3 weeks ago, but hopefully here in the next week or two.
So if we did, let's say 90 days,
Yeah, if it doesn't, well,
that sound adequate, Jamie?
It's up to you. You want longer just in case?
I sure hope not.
We'll do 6 months.
Let's do 6 months.
Just to be safe, so you don't have to come back again.
6 months extension.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Morrow,
Yes.
Mr. Malacco,
Yes.
Mr. Lobelli,
Yes.
and
Chairman Jones.
Yes, your extension is granted. Thank you very much.
Okay, our second preliminary matter is for BZA 21-103. And the applicant was approved with the condition we stamped a site plan, and the applicant would like to augment what was previously approved.
Okay. So, hello, please provide your name and indicate whether or not you've been sworn just as confirmation.
Tyler Coker, yes, I have.
Okay, thank you. And can you enlarge that? Tyler, if you could just kind of go over it with us.
Sure, so this ties back to a garage height variance, where as part of the planning division's review for the Clintonville area plan, they recommended the use of a permeable driveway as opposed to a paved surface. I accepted that. I did some unit cost estimates and figured at the time that I could fit it into my budget. Since then, two things have developed. The first is I dug into the details of what actually would constitute a permeable surface. It's much more substantial in terms of the grading that goes on underneath. And so really what that did is it elevated the cost to about 3.5 times of what you would normally get for a paved surface using just asphalt. And just frankly, my construction budget overall, I just can't fit that into my budget. So I went back to Jamie and I engaged in planning division, provided them with an alternative paved surface using asphalt, but I reduced the size of my driveway for the minimum necessary for just kind of normal ingress, egress. It's about 20% smaller than what the original surface was. And so I'm here requesting your permission to modify the condition on my approval to move forward with just a traditional paved surface.
And so help me understand, we wouldn't have really spoken to the materials for your pavement. We would have been more focused on.
Right, well, that was a condition of the planning division that in order to have the garage approved as is and the layout, that the turnaround area would be permeable. Because I think the original proposal was for hard surface and they thought it was too large. So that was a planning condition that you agreed to, that the applicant agreed to and you enforced. And that's why planning said, well, we're okay with the pavement if you reduce the size.
Okay,
So by reducing the size, they now have staff support again.
okay, that sounds reasonable. What I didn't do the last time was ask if there was anybody in the audience to speak.
Typically not, we don't send out notice for this, but you're more than welcome to ask for it.
Yeah, because these are items that came up after the mailing, right? Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Okay, thank you. Is there, presumably there's nobody in the audience that would like to speak for or against the modification of this proposal? Seeing and hearing none,
I'll move to modify the proposal.
it's been moved. Is there a second?
A second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Maleka?
Yes.
Mr. Lovely?
Yes.
Mr. DeMoro?
Yes.
Chairman Jones?
Yes, it is approved. Thank you. Got one more?
Possibly two, but this is.
Who's that?
This is BGA 21-173. It was a city barbecue on East Main Street. I'll let the applicant speak to their request, but it's also to augment a previously approved site.
My name is Jeff Lonchar. I'm with CSO 2800 Clover Exchange Drive, Suite 400. As Jamie alluded to, we essentially were approved for a few different variances in February, and essentially the site plan showed probably over exhaustive amount of landscape blocks, we'll call them on the plan, to just kind of depict that we would adhere to staff's condition of screening along East Main Street and McDonald Road. As we continued and developed our design, our final landscape plan, I want to say, uphold the previously approved intent along East Main Street, but we have requested to dial it back a little bit along McNaughton. Dial it back in the sense of volume of shrubs. The intent would still be the same, where it would be fully landscaped and screened from visibility as best as possible. So I'm back here today to essentially request that the revised landscape plan be stamped approved in lieu of the previously approved one, so that we can obtain plan.
Okay, let me look at that, because I'm looking at what's approved and I'm looking at what you're proposing. And it's hard to tell because it's darker, almost like it is more screening, but you're saying it's less. So I need to see it a little bit better.
So the right one, that darker is a hatch, so it's more so just to represent new sod and seed in that area, grass to grow in that particular space because we will be doing some construction in that area. So that hatch is a little deceiving because that's more of a just low grass surface. What is being proposed on the right-hand side plan is pretty much the exact same amount of shrubbing, and the amount of understory trees with the conjunction of 3 existing large canopy trees that are along close to the right-of-way along the Naughton. So pretty much the whole corridor is screened and will be full and filled in once these trees mature a bit more. So the intent still remains the same. It just isn't, I guess, to the exact quantity as the previous plan showed, which we didn't even put a quantity on there. It's just more so to depict that we were committed to it. After discussing with the landscape team in my office, we've sort of determined that not all these shrubs and bushes would be able to grow and mature how we want them to, unless they would die. So it would kind of be a lose-lose for everyone in the sense where they would die and then it would be a essentially poorly spent money, I guess. So that's why we're back in.
Okay, I understand. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak for or against the modification of this proposal? Seeing and hearing none, are there any questions from the board of zoning?
I move to modify the stamp plan,
To a new stamp
to a
plan.
new stamp plan, yes.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Lovely,
Yes.
Mr. DeMora,
Yes.
Mr. Malaka,
Yes.
and Chairman Jones.
Yes, it is approved. Thank you very much. More, James.
And the applicant for case number 14, BZA 22-031 is here. I believe the requested table.
Okay. Case 14, 853-857 Hamlet Street. Nobody here? Okay,
With that, maybe we could just reserve to the end and call it then.
sure.
That is it for the preliminary matter.
All right, then let's get started. BZA 22-002 for 146. That's right, 146 to 164 Yale. Please step forward, provide your names, and indicate whether or not you have been sworn.
Sure. Casey Goldstein from Yes, I've been sworn in.
Kim Mechanic, and I've been sworn in.
Thank you very much. If you go ahead and sign in, and we will hear from city staff about your case.
Okay. 146 through 164 South Yale Avenue is located at the northeast corner of South Yale Avenue and West Town Street. Site is zone M manufacturing and is located within the Franklin Area Commission. The 0.19 acre site is built with several buildings, one or more of which are utilized for an animal daycare and boarding facility, with outdoor runs. The site is adjacent to manufacturing and commercial uses in the north and south. To the east, the rail line, and to the west are single and 2-unit dwellings. The applicant is proposing to legitimize the establishment of the animal daycare and boarding facility with outdoor runs. Therefore, a special permit is requested for the new and existing outdoor runs. A variance to C4 district development limitations is also requested to reduce the minimum distance between the facility and residential district from 100 feet to 80 feet. See, there are residential to the west. Oklahoma Citywide planning policies recommend that parking lots be screened from view. That such screening should include a combination of walls, mounds, trees, shrubs, and/or landscaping. The plan also states that chain link fencing is not appropriate for screening. Staff encourages the applicant to remove the chain link fence around the parking lot here, including around the parking lot, and add landscaping, including street trees, in consultation with the city forester to screen the parking lot from the right of way. The Division of Traffic Management has no comments, and the Franklin Area Commission recommends approval. City staff will recommend approval of the special permit to legitimize existing and allow new outdoor dog runs, play areas, and to the variance to reduce the separation of the runs from residentially zoned districts from 100 feet to 80 feet. as the outdoor runs will be located along the eastern edge of the site near the railroad tracks. We are recommending the site be brought up to Columbus citywide planning policies standards, which again recommend that parking lot be screened from view, and that such screening should include a combination of walls, mounds, trees, shrubs, and landscape. The plan also states that chain link fencing is not appropriate. So that is our condition with the approval that the applicant will remove the chain link fence around the parking lot and add landscaping, including street trees in consultation with the city forester. Mr. Chairman, that's all we got.
Thank you very much. So you have the recommendation for support for your proposal with some conditions. Are you familiar with these conditions and willing to accept?
I am familiar with the conditions. I would like to say I'm not willing to accept at this time, and I'm willing to have a conversation about it, specifically due to the fact that covering the parking lot, that is a big change for us at the moment. I inherited the chain link fence as is. We've been in business for about 3 years. What it does for us currently is it provides safety. We have a back alley back there. We've had some issues in the past. It also keeps our dogs in the facility, the parking lot. A lot of owners have an issue with dropping the leash or a dog sneaks out of a collar, and it keeps the community safe in that respect of keeping the dogs that we take care of safe within our parking lot. It also keeps other dogs that are running around. We find 1 or 2 dogs a week sometimes outside of the facility that are roaming the streets in Franklinton. So it just overall gives us protection. I would love to redo it at a later date, but with the construction budget, we're maxed out with everything that we're trying to do to try to beautify Franklinton at this moment.
That chain link fence isn't very beautiful.
It is not. And I promise you, that's something I'm wanting to work towards, but it's about 300 linear feet, I would say. So it's a lot of fence, and with material costs at an all-time high, it's something that I'm doing as much as I can, and it's something I want to do. But at this moment, it would be a lot for me to do.
You make some compelling arguments, but again, people take dogs to doggy daycare every day, and they don't have the provision of the extra fencing that you're describing. Jamie, is there a way for us, if we felt so strongly about it, that we said, well, yeah, we really want these things done, and a time limit on it?
So let me ask this question too. So can you go back to kind of where this is located and show us a little bit more about the area itself?
Sure. Yeah, like I said in my report, zoned into the Emmett Manufacturing District. To the east are railroad tracks. To the west are the residential. To the south on Town Street where the fence is commercial. A better view of the area. And again, this is just a recommendation. It's not contingent upon approval of variances. It's just something that they're hoping the applicant will concede to as you all beautify the area.
And Ms. Goldstein, you talked about safety given that there's a railroad track and abutting areas, are you concerned about safety from people breaking in, or are you just worried about the dogs and potentially getting loose? When you say safety, what are you talking?
Yeah, I think we do a really good job at not having toxic safe at facility. That's why we're one of the best in town. The protection is more from the neighborhood at the moment. So it's an up and coming neighborhood. It's great. They're doing a lot. But I was sitting in the zoning meeting and a police officer came to the meeting and said, we don't have the ability to call on or to come out for calls such as theft. Just this week, we had $2,700 worth of wood removed from our area for this project that we're working on. And as a small business, that's a lot. So the fence for right now, that alley behind us, it's not really, we're actually petitioning to buy it. So we're working with the furniture bank next door to try to purchase the alley behind us so we can take care of it. But right now it's served as a dumping site, and we have a lot of drug users who frequent the alley. And I've been broken into by one of them using the dumping materials to try to jump over the fence. So the barbed wire, the fence itself is not going to deter anybody if they really want to get in, but it's just a preventative.
Okay, thank you. So my original question, if we were to be that concerned, because again, the beautification is Town Street, right? We're trying to enhance the area. Could we say that she had 2 years to do that?
Yes.
Would that sound fair to you?
Yeah.
Okay. So with that being said, you're familiar with the conditions. You have general support and recommendations for approval from the area association and staff. Is there anything additional that you'd like to add?
Not this time.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, I have no problem with taking two votes, one with a condition, one without a condition.
Well, that'll be up to the applicant, but let me do this. Let me ask if there's anybody in the audience here to speak for or against this proposal. Okay, and so you're proposing that we
I say we
could
take a vote, first vote without a condition, and if it passes, it's good, and if that doesn't pass, take a second vote with a condition. But I vote for without a condition, I have no problem with the fence being.
Okay. Well, how do you all feel about the condition?
I mean, I wouldn't push for it at this point. It just seems been there.
Well, my point is all of that's been there, but they're trying to fix it up. And if we don't put a mandate in place now, I'm sure you'll try to do it, but there's no mandate that it'll ever be fixed. And then it could be like the chain link wrapped around a beautiful neighborhood.
Yeah, I'd be fine to call the question without the conditions.
Okay,
I'll call the question without the condition.
okay, the question's been called. Please call the roll.
Mr. Morrow,
Yes,
Mr. Malika,
Yes.
Mr. Modell,
Yes.
Chairman Jones.
Yes, variances are granted. Good luck with the continuation of your business. Thank you. Case BZA 22-003 for 3655 Weston Place.
Mike Sholey, architect and agent for the owner.
Okay,
And I have been sworn.
thank you very much. Whose case is this? Jamie, you're up.
Okay, BZA 22-003. 3655 Weston Place is located on the west side of Weston Place, approximately 50 feet north of Irving Way West. 50 feet north of Irving Way West. The site is zoned R2 residential and located within the Clintonville area commission. As you can see on the slide, the site is built with a single unit dwelling in a residential neighborhood. Current uses are single unit residential dwellings. The applicant proposes to raise and rebuild a detached two-car garage. A variance is requested to conform the reduced minimum side yard from 3 feet to 1 foot along the northern property. Clintonville area plan states that garages should be compatible and similar in character to existing nearby home designs, measured in terms of height and width, setback, and lot coverage. To ensure the proposal meets these guidelines, planning requests additional information in the form of building location. Division of Traffic Management has no comments, and the Clintonville area commission recommends approval. The proposed garage elevations are consistent with the Clintonville area plan. They're compatible and similar in character to existing nearby home designs in terms of height, width, setback, and lot coverage. Therefore, city staff is recommending approval. We are asking for a condition that the elevations will be stamped to ensure compatibility with the Clintonville area plan.
Thank you. What is our threshold for requesting or requiring that you have a cross maintenance access agreement? Is it 0 feet on the lot line or 1 foot?
Well, it's anything less than 3 feet.
Which is this now?
Right. So the condition typically you ask for is 3 feet total. So if they're requesting their side yard from 3 feet to 1 foot, it would be 2 foot maintenance easement.
Okay, and so we need to say that now.
If that's what you're requesting.
Yeah, I mean,
We've relied on you to request those.
Okay, and you understand what that means?
Yes.
Are you open to accepting that condition for the owner?
Yes.
Okay. You have the recommended approval from the area commission as well as city offices. Is there anything additional that you'd like to add?
No, it's just a typical Clintonville lot. It's tight. Just having a hard time parking my car in the garage, so we're trying to get it as close over to the property line so that you can actually use it for the garage.
Great job. It looks like a good project. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak for or against this proposal?
call the question.
The question's been called with the condition
The
as
condition, yes.
spelled out. Please call the roll.
Mr. Maleka,
Yes.
Mr. Webb,
Yes.
Mr. Morrow,
Yes,
Chairman Jones.
Yes, variance is granted. You have a plan? Thank you.
He's really there, so.
BZA 22014.
Hello, Matt Dillendorf, representing the applicant, or representing the property,
Okay, and you've been sworn?
and I've been sworn.
Thank you very much.
BZA 22014, 2174 Rankin Avenue is located on the east side of Rankin Avenue, approximately 120 feet south of East Hudson Street. It is zoned R2 and is located within the northeast area commission. The site is developed with a two-story single-unit dwelling located approximately 73 feet from the front property line. Surrounding uses are single-unit residential. The applicant proposes to construct a 223 square foot room addition into the rear of the dwelling and requests a variance to reduce the minimum rear yard area from 25% to 12%. The existing is 15.34%. The northeast area plan does not address this specific matter. The Division of Traffic Management has no comments. The Northeast Area Commission recommends approval of this request. Staff can also recommend approval. The Northeast Area Plan does not address a specific matter. Staff notes that the large front yard mitigates the proposed loss of rear yard area.
Thank you very much. So you have the recommendation from the City of Columbus and the Area Commission. Is there anything additional that you'd like to add about the proposal?
I don't think so.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak for or against the proposal? Okay. Are there any questions from the BZA?
Call the question.
Questions been called, please call the roll.
Mr. Lovely,
Yes.
Mr. Demora. Yes. Mr. Malaka,
Yes.
Chairman Jones.
Yes. Variances are granted. Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Thank you. BZA 22-015. Good evening. Would you please provide your name and indicate whether or not you've been sworn?
Truth Allen Brady, and I've been sworn in.
Okay, thank you. Who speaks with this? Jamie?
All right, BZA 22-015, 2341 Velma Avenue. The site is located at the northwest corner of Velma Avenue and Clifton Street. The site is zoned R3 residential and is located within South Indian Area Commission. The site is currently undeveloped, but was recently occupied by a single unit dwelling in a residential neighborhood. The applicant proposes a single unit dwelling on a parcel with a driveway along the eastern property line. Variance is necessary to allow parking. Sorry, that's the wrong. That's the wrong report.
I was like, somewhere there.
This is a new building. The variance in order to allow the dwelling to approach 2 feet into the 30 by 30 vision clearance triangle and reduce the building setback line along Clinton Street from 8 feet, 5 feet, 4 inches. Again, this is for a single unit dwelling. Planning supports the proposal as the proposal is largely consistent with Columbus citywide planning policies. The Division of Traffic Management has no comments. The South Linden Area Commission recommend approval of this request. Staff can recommend approval as the proposal is consistent with CP2 guidelines. The request to encroach into the vision clearance triangle by 2 feet has been reviewed by the Division of Traffic Management, who found no safety issues. The reduced building setback along Clifton Street and required 8 feet, 5 feet, 4 inches is negligible. Staff is recommending one condition that in consultation with the city forester, the applicant will add 1 street tree each in front of the residents along Velma Avenue and Clinton. That we will turn it back over to you.
Thank you. So you heard the recommendation. Are you willing to accept that for the city forester to?
Yes, we've already sent in the updated site plan with that additional tree.
Okay, great. So you have the recommendation of support from, or recommendation of approval from the area commission as well as city staff. Are there anything additional that you'd like to add?
No.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak for or against the proposal? Seeing and hearing none.
Call the question.
Questions?
With the condition.
Questions been called with the condition. Please call the roll.
Mr. Demora. Yes. Mr. Malaka.
Yes.
Mr. Lovely
Yes.
and Chairman Jones.
Yes, variances are granted. Good luck.
Have to sit here.
Oh, that's you too. Okay. I was waiting for you to leave before I called the next person up.
Got Marie in a row.
BZA 22-016. Just need to indicate your name again and that you've been sworn.
Patrice Allen Brady, and I've been sworn in.
Thank you very much. Jamie?
Yes. Okay, BTA 22-016, 1036 26th Avenue is located on the north side of 26th Avenue, approximately 170 feet west of Lexington Avenue. The site is zoned R3 residential and is located within the South Linden area. The site is currently undeveloped, but was recently occupied by a single unit dwelling in a residential neighborhood. The applicant proposes a single unit dwelling on a parcel of the driveway along the eastern property line. Variance is necessary to allow parking to be considered an obstruction on the driveway in the eastern side yard. The majority of immediately adjacent dwellings share this feature. The proposed dwelling is consistent with Columbus citywide planning policies. The Division of Traffic Management has some comments, and the South Linden Area Commission is going to approve. City staff, however, consistently recommends disapproval to requests that will allow parking in the side or front yards. Staff notes that the applicant would not need a variance to obstruct the side yard if they were to extend the driveway to the back of the lot, where the parking pad could be installed in the rear rather than the side yard.
Exactly. Issues. That's kind of a condition to me. So let's kind of unpack that. Do you understand what he's saying?
Yes.
So tell me why we should do this because we don't.
Right, so currently the surrounding properties, they do have driveways that run between the home. So it fits with the character of the neighborhood. I don't know if in your packets, you can see the aerial view where driveways already exist. There we go. Since all of these are ranch properties, for driveways that extend past the home into the rear of the home, they all have garages. And so this property will not have a garage. This property will only have the driveway only. In addition to that, we like to ensure that our tenants, because this will be a rental property, have green space as a part of their quality of life. Hence the reason why we also don't want to extend it to the rear of the property. Majority of the properties there that are similar design have backyards, as well as plenty of space for families to congregate and enjoy. Also, I want to point out, I did check the area view on Google Maps before coming here and also driven in the neighborhood because I know it very well. And notice that even those with garages, that people still park on the driveway, which runs in between the homes. So the addition of a parking pad most likely won't prevent them from parking in between the homes.
Still not there yet.
Okay.
I mean, that's when we approve, if we approve, we set a precedent for that.
Right.
What you're describing is something that might be common practice, as wrong as it may be, and we can't really sanction that. And that's kind of what you're asking us to do, is to sanction what's already taking place and allow you to do it by virtue of codifying, with this variance. And I have an issue with that. We'll see if there's anybody here to speak for or against that, and then we as a board can continue to discuss it. But that doesn't sound as compelling as I would hope it would be. There are no specific concerns, with disability or any special needs that you would be trying to accommodate. You're just saying you want to do it because the other people are already doing it, and it would help improve the quality of life for possibly for a tenant, but.
Right, but I mean, most of our properties, we don't, we try to make them as accessible as possible. This is not one of our ADA units. We do build ADA units as well. But if a tenant moves in and they need accessibility, that's one of the reasons why we may not extend it to the rear of the property. But also for us as an affordable housing developer, it's cost prohibitive. I mean, the addition of a parking pad in the rear would probably be good. Last pad we built in Linden was last year bid at $3,000. So that additional cost could affect the affordability of that unit.
$3,000?
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like to me, and tell me that I'm wrong, that if you extend your driveway 5 or 6 feet, that'll do it. Because then you would have 2 spaces that are behind the face of the garage. So all you have to do is add 5 or 6 feet to the length of the existing when you're showing this driveway, and you would not need that variance.
So 5 or 6 feet to take us up to the edge of the house?
Just beyond the edge. of
Beyond the back.
It's- Yeah,
What
I don't think it
walkway
even needs
is?
to go there, does it?
Yeah, it needs to go back behind the house.
Anywhere behind the back of the house, the front house, is the side yard. Anywhere behind it is rear yard, you can park in.
Yeah, but I mean, so not the back of the lot.
Can they park in the side yard?
Well, again,
That's what we're talking
that's what
about.
they're asking for right now. The side yard is anywhere between the back of the house, between the front of the house.
So that's what I said, if she.
This right here is not side yard, this is all rear. yard.
What I'm saying is that right now she's parking partially in the front yard.
She can go 10 feet behind the back line of the house, and that's fine.
Am I right?
There's no.
Looks like these are the two.
So basically,
It is partially, right, which, depending on how far back it is, it's, as long as she's 25 feet back. That's the.
She's 25 feet back.
Okay, then she's okay. Even if it is slightly in front of the house, 25 feet is the minimum setback.
Yep. I was thinking it needed to be along behind the face of the house.
Well, typically because most houses are built at 25 feet. So you're right about that. Okay.
so back to our original statement, she could park, or she could take the driveway extended 10 feet from the back corner of the house.
Well, it'd have to be 18 feet. I'm sorry, 36 feet.
Why?
Because a legal parking space is 9 by 18, be wide by 18 feet deep. So you have to go 18 feet here, and then maybe to the side. You can't have any obstruction in the side yard. The side yard is anywhere between the back of the house and the front.
So I'm saying if she's beyond the back of the house,
Yeah, and I'm agreeing. I'm just saying,
it has to be.
if it's not 5 feet, it's gotta be 18. That's a minimum length of it. Or if she could go, turn right and behind the house. But to your point, Mr. Friends, yes, anywhere behind the back of the house.
Yeah, so
Personally, I would rather see more green, like it's shown, and more driveway.
So you guys are talking about setting a precedent on letting people park on the side of their house. We can't pick and choose and say, well, it's okay in Linden, but it's not okay.
But but it hits the 25-foot setback from,
That's not part of this variance. I don't know what you mean by that.
And the way that we prohibit that is because the neighbors, if they've got a bedroom window or some other window right there, there's a car.
There's a car right at the
Yeah,
side.
the engine starting exhaust on, and that's why we don't need obstruction.
Got it.
We have to consider the neighbors.
Everywhere, throughout Columbus.
see or somebody.
Nobody, this is us now. We got to figure this out.
So let's go back to what Mr. Malak was saying, just so I can get more visuals. Where would the 25-foot start?
Starts from this driveway,
Okay, and then,
5 feet back. That's your minimum parking setback.
yep,
Anywhere beyond that, well, anywhere from the front of the building to the back of the building, is side yard. Cannot be obstructed.
okay. So if she were to take the driveway backwards, you're saying it would require an additional 18 feet?
Or she could turn the corner right.
Or turn the corner right. Yeah,
Which is
okay.
gonna be 18.
I just want to make sure I had it.
Good question.
So what is the appetite of the board?
I'm all for making precedent. That's just me.
Relevant. It's bad precedent.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Mr. Maleka?
I just think this is a unique case in that most of the, I mean, everything I see in that neighborhood, everybody's parking on the side and in front of this house. And again, I think if it was closer to the road than that 25 feet, I'd be more apt to be anti. So I think this is a very unique case. And so I am actually,
We've had other unique cases,
I know,
and we have said no. Last month.
I voted yes last month, again, by the way.
So, call the question as presented then.
Mr. Maleka?
yes.
Mr. Weatherly?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes, we have precedent.
Chairman Jones?
No, but your variance is granted. Good luck. Case BZA 22-017.
It's up again.
Oh, my gosh. And I'm still looking beyond you for somebody to walk up. How many more cases do you have here?
This is the last one. Yes.
Again, please give us your name and indicate whether or not you've been sworn.
Patrice Allen Brady, and I've been sworn in.
Okay, are you coming with the same thing again?
Yes, sir.
And to save the board some time, yes, this is virtually the exact same.
Same thing.
So.
Mr. Freeze, present your case.
Okay, I'll just skip it in summary. Back to the same. Staff consistently recommends disapproval. The request that would allow parking in the side or front yard. Staff notes that the applicant would not need a variance to obstruct the side yard if it would extend the driveway to the back of the lot where a parking bag could be installed in the rear yard or in the side yard. South Linden recommends approval and traffic has no comments.
Is there anything additional that you'd like to add?
No.
Anyone in the audience that would like to speak for or against the proposal? Call the question.
Mr. Lovely?
Yes.
Mr. DeMora? Yes. Mr. Malika?
Yes.
Chairman Jones?
No, but your variances again are granted.
Thank you.
Good luck and have a good evening.
Thank you. You too.
BZA 22-018. The man that opened doors for me all this evening. Thank you very much. Would you please give us your name and indicate whether or not you've been sworn?
Daniel Fertleman, I have been sworn.
Okay, thank you. Jamie?
Yes.
Okay, BZA 22-018, 1520 Summit Street. The site's located on the east side of Summit Street, approximately 160 feet south of East 11th Avenue. The site is on R4 residential and it's located within the University Area Commission. Site is developed with a 2-unit dwelling south of the Ohio State University. Surrounding uses are primarily single and 2-unit dwellings. The applicant proposes to renovate the existing structure, construct a 2-story addition in the rear, which would be used for living space and as a covered porch. Variances are to conform existing additions, no parking lot screening, reducing the maximum side yards from 5 feet and reducing the minimum side yards to 2.5 feet. The addition will increase the maximum lot coverage from 25% to 42% and increase the floor area ratio from 0.4 to 0.5. The University District Plan recommends this site for low intensity residential use, which places priority on the preservation of existing competing buildings. Recommends a max floor area ratio of 0.40. Minimum 20% of the total lot area to be preserved as landscape open space behind the principal structure, and a maximum of 4 single stack parking spaces. The plan states that character defining features of historic buildings be maintained, that the primary facade of buildings address the street, landscaping will be provided in the front setback, parking be located in the rear or side of buildings, and that parking adjacent to the right of way be screened. The plan recommends the scale and proportion of additions be compatible with those of contributing building, that the contrast between old and new be reflected with contemporary design and materials, and additions should not obscure or destroy existing significant building features, and that replacement doors and windows should fit the entire opening with no filter or additional framing. The Division of Traffic Management has no comments, and the University Area Commission recommends approval. City staff can recommend approval as most of the requested variances are to legitimize an existing non-conforming conditions of the site and the proposal preserves the contributing building with an addition that is in scale with the existing building, as recommended by the University District Plan. Staff is recommending petition that the 4 parking spaces be provided in lieu of 6, which would be code compliant, to ensure consistency with the plan. Recommended layout is to have 2 single stack spaces and 1 across and 1 double stack space to maximize the usable green space.
Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much. You have the recommendation of approval from the area commission as well as city staff
And the review board.
and the review board.
I forgot. We haven't received that yet, but I trust you.
Okay, yes.
He's sworn and said that he has it. So
Yes.
it's over that.
And you used to be city staff for your.
Yes.
That's right. So can.
Do you have anything additional that you'd like to add?
I would add that we haven't updated site plan. So that's the old plan.
Okay.
Here's the updated site plan.
So through the review board process, we reduced the size of the addition, increased the amount of green space. In terms of, we're still at 2 units. So we went from, the existing building is 2 units, 5 beds. The new building is 2 units, 6 beds, and modern accommodations. The bathrooms are just very substandard, as well as the kitchen. So it's a big upgrade.
Okay. So I have a question. So what's going on with the parking?
So the guidelines for the plan are to have 4 parking spaces for units like this. And our client requested to have 6. And
Well, you have
we
6
still
bedrooms.
meet the
You have
rear
6
yard.
bedrooms, right?
Hmm?
You just said you had 6 bedrooms.
Yes,
So I'm hoping you have 6 parking spots.
yes.
But it's 2 required per unit.
And we all know that every kid on campus has got their own car.
There's no variance request for parking, is there?
No, they are
No.
code compliant. We're, in fact, they're above code. We're asking them to reduce it to be.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm
So
questioning.
your question is-
They're asking for less parking spots, and I wasn't really for
Well,
that.
as the architect mentioned earlier, it's good to have green space.
But you're still
I
having,
upgrade that.
but you're still having green space. You said you have more green space, you still have
Yes, we
6
have
parking spots, right?
submitted. And in fact, the existing conditions, it's a gravel lot and the people, the students park all the way up to the house. So it's an improvement.
So what are you saying, Bill?
I was saying that he's telling me they're having 6 spots in green space, and you're telling me you only want 4 spots. That's like, I'm confused. So you're having 6 spots and green space.
Yes.
I'm happy with that.
But I mean, he can do whatever he wants.
Well,
He's not.
But he wants a condition by making it 4 spots. That's why, that was my question.
It's not my condition, it's the plan.
Sure.
You have to.
I was obviously against the condition.
Okay, then you can call it without the condition.
Okay.
Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak for or against this proposal? Seeing and hearing none,
I'll call the question without the condition.
please call the roll.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Malaka,
Yes.
Mr. Watley,
Yes.
and Mr. Miguel.
Yes, variances are granted. Good luck. Jamie, do we need to stamp this, or is you going to send you one that's stamped later? You can have this, sir. Has your notes on it.
Also, Mr. Jones, I believe the applicant turned up before the meeting, Caitlin's here.
Okay.
Were you gonna request the table?
Yeah.
Okay, you can do it now, so it's. That's okay.
Yes, BZA 22-031. Would you please raise your right hand? You swear or affirm that the testimony that you'll provide is the truth to the best of your knowledge and belief. If so, say I do. Thank you. Tell us about your proposal or what you'd like to request.
We'd like to request a table until we can sit in front of the IBC to get their design.
We always support that. Is there anyone in the audience that was here to speak for or against this case that may have an opinion about tabling? Seeing and hearing none, I'll look for,
So have you tabled this before? Yes, haven't you?
Not this resubmission, no. This is a brand new application.
With the same addresses that they have.
Same address, correct.
They were denied after reconsideration was approved. That's like they're, so they're asking for a table.
Yeah, I'm against tabling it, but that's me.
I'll look for a motion to table.
I'll move the table.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Call the roll.
Mr. Malaka,
Yes.
Mr. Watley,
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
No.
Yes, your tabling is granted. Good luck. BZA 22-021 for 1254 Carvel Drive. Good evening. Would you please provide your name and indicate whether or not you've been sworn? Thank you very
Sorry, Mike, and not you. Sorry, my name is Paige Berry and I've been sworn in.
You can move that mic closer to you.
Steve or Adam?
BZA 22-021, 1254 Caravel Drive is located on the north side of Caravel, approximately 200 feet from Catamaran Drive. It is zoned R2 and is part of the Far South Columbus Area Commission. The 0.13 acre site is developed with a 1-story single unit dwelling. Surrounding uses are single unit dwellings. The applicant proposes to legitimize the conversion of a two-car garage into a living space and requests a variance to reduce the minimum parking setback line from 25 feet to 8 feet. The site of the Southland plan states that garages should not be the dominant feature of any house. Additionally, C2B2 recommends that new housing should reflect the prevailing setback and spacing of nearby homes. The Division of Traffic Management has no comments, and the Far South Columbus Area Commission recommends approval of this request. Staff has consistently recommended disapproval to requests that would allow parking in the side or front yards.
Thank you very much. So you have the recommendation for approval from the Far South Area Commission, but you don't have a recommendation of approval from our city staff, and you've heard the reasons why.
Yes.
Is there anything additional that you'd like to add?
I bought the home at the start of COVID in 2020. And it was already like this. There's another house in the neighborhood that is the same way this as to why I felt it was okay. I did not look into it until I was notified by City of Columbus that the previous owner had been notified. So, and I'm just trying to legalize and legitimize it so I don't have to demolish my
Sure.
with 2 young children.
Yeah, it seems reasonable. And I know we've had a very limited number of cases like this. What do we do? Wow, okay, let's get past that. Is there anyone in the audience here to speak for or against this proposal?
So you bought it this way, you didn't change it.
Correct.
And you were unaware, and the former homeowner did not inform you in any way, shape, or form that the city had contacted them as well. Correct?
Well, pull it up on MLS and see. I was going to ask you to tax your memory, Jamie. We had that one lady once upon a time that was on the south side of Columbus, and she built a house. She built a building in her backyard that was bigger than her house. And I don't know if we ever told her to tear that down or not. I mean, it wasn't her house, but it was a big structure, and she hired a contractor. She was English was not her first language, and I felt so bad.
They never came back.
So did they tear the house down or tear the building down?
Oh, that never happened.
Okay. Yeah, it's a very unfortunate thing.
Yeah, they bought it in December 2020.
Yeah, again, I don't know how we. I keep thinking the previous ownership.
Yeah, the previous owner's on the hook for this for sure, for not disclosing. I am not applying for the permit in the beginning to find out that this wouldn't be acceptable. We're coming through to do what she's doing now.
First time homeowner, I apologize, like I
Not your
don't
fault.
know nothing.
Yeah, again, not your fault. And somebody was, well, I don't know. I don't want to get into that. We have to figure it out now, gentlemen.
So we're legitimizing.
I can, so again,
You're basically reducing the parking setback, which would in fact legitimize it.
and in terms of setting precedent, we would do this so seldom because of the hardship that it would create. Yet it doesn't create a burden on anybody else. So,
Yeah, the amount of legal spend in order to rectify that with having to go back and sue the former property owner, disclosures. I mean,
yeah. So how are we going to do this, gentlemen? I mean, we can call the question as presented and go from there. I'm okay with that.
I'll call the question.
Question's been called. Please call the roll.
Mr. Weatherly?
Yes.
Mr. Morrow? Yes. Mr. Maleka?
Yes.
And Chairman Jones?
Yes, your variance is granted. Good luck with your continued homeownership.
Thank you. You, Jamie.
BZA 22-022. This is for 4729 Groves Road. Hello, ladies. Could you please provide us with your names and indicate whether or not you've been sworn?
Vanessa Williams, and I've been sworn. Lauren Gallagher, and I've been sworn.
Thank you very much.
PVA 22-022, 4729 Grove Road is located at the southeast corner of Grove Road and Baines Drive. It's zoned R2 and is part of the Greater Southeast Area Commission. The 0.07 acre site is developed with a two-story single-unit dwelling. Surrounding uses include an undeveloped site zone, manufacturing to the west, a warehouse to the north, and single-unit dwellings to the south and east. The applicant proposes to raise the existing two-story single-unit dwelling and construct a one-story single-unit dwelling. It requires variance to reduce the clear vision triangle at the intersection of Baines Road and Groves Road from 30 by 30 feet to 20 by 20 feet to reduce the minimum number of parking spaces from 2 to 1, and to reduce the rear yard from 25% to 15%. Planning is in full support of this proposal. The elevations are consistent with C2P2 design guidelines. The Division of Traffic Management had the following comments. Please be advised that with the proposed building construction, sidewalks will be required to be constructed along Groves Road and Baines Drive frontages. It would appear that the intersection site distance and site distance for adjacent driveways would not be adversely affected by the requested variance. Staff can recommend approval of the proposed dwelling consistent with C2P2 design guidelines. Intersection site distance for adjacent driveways would not be adversely affected by the requested variance, and they recommend the condition that sidewalks be constructed along the Groves Road and Baines Drive frontages.
So to be clear, are sidewalks required for zoning clearance? It's saying they're required here, and you're recommending it.
So sidewalks required for yes, approval and accessibility. Same zoning clearance that was shown them to making it a condition, so when they come back to us.
Okay. So it's required. Okay. Do you guys understand that to be the case?
Sidewalks?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. So otherwise, you have the recommendation of approval from the area commission as well as city offices or city staff. Is there anything additional that you'd like to add? Great, thank you. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak for or against this proposal? Seeing and hearing none, somebody like to call the question.
My only question is, I don't see any sidewalks all in the neighborhood.
They'll have the only sidewalk.
There's not.
I was thinking who's gonna walk by there, but you know.
Sidewalks are based on building construction, not the availability of existing sidewalks.
They can walk to their neighbors.
They can walk to the street.
It's saying it present.
Call the question.
I'll call the question.
Question's been called. Please call the roll.
Mr. DeMora? Yes. Mr. Maleka?
Yes.
Mr. Worley?
Yes.
Chairman Jones?
Yes, variances are granted. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
BZA 22-028 for 5679 Maple Canyon Avenue. Guys out here in an hour, I'm sorry.
I thought we were going to bring this.
Hello. Good evening.
Good, it is good.
Good evening.
5:30.
Please state your name and indicate whether or not you've been sworn.
My name's Jack Reynolds, and I have been sworn.
Thank you, Mr. Reynolds. Jamie?
BZA 22-028, 5679 Maple Canyon Avenue, located on the west side of Maple Canyon Avenue, is zoned AR1 apartment residential and is part of the Northland Community Council. The 8.805 acre site is developed with 8 two-story multi-unit dwellings. Surrounding uses are primarily commercial and multi-unit dwellings. The city of Columbus and Franklin County are installing a roundabout at the intersection of Maple Canyon and York Hill Lane that will render an existing building, number 7, non-conforming due to a right-of-way taking. The applicant is requesting a variance to reduce the minimum setback from 25 feet to 10 feet. The Northland Community Council recommends approval of this request. The Division of Traffic Management had no comments, and Staff can recommend approval of the proposed setback. Staff notes that the proposed setback reduction is due to the impact of a proposed city street improvement project that would install a new roundabout on Maple Canyon Avenue.
Thank you very much. So you obviously have the recommendation of the Northland Community Council as well as city staff. I can't even believe that you have to be here. Because, I mean, I'm just thinking.
We look at our first client, we didn't have to.
But the reality of it is you're taking the land, the city's taking the land to do this. And if you should almost just like, this should definitely be a rubber stamp in my opinion. But
Well, we're taking the land, we're paying for it, we're also paying the return fees.
oh, you're paying, okay, there we go. That's what I was saying, for you to have to be here.
Sorry.
Then yeah, I guess I don't feel.
I'm happy to be here.
I bet you are.
All of a sudden, he wants to go last.
Right.
So why are they putting a roundabout here? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
We need to ask for it.
Seems like in the middle of nowhere.
I want this meeting to be quick, right?
Yeah, okay. So again, is there anything additional that you like to add?
We talked to Tiffany too, and we are trying to understand why it should be there, but we're happy to make it a conforming setback once again for the property owner.
Okay, thank you. Anyone in the audience here to speak for or against the proposal? Yes, sir. Would you, thank you. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you'll provide is the truth to the best of your knowledge and belief? So say I do.
I do.
Thank you.
I'm Dave Paul. I chair the Norfolk Community Council Development Committee. I was going to actually, in response to your comment, I was going to kind of keep my peace, but in answer to Board Member Malika's comment, I thought I would share. This is part of a larger project up and down the 161 corridor and what I think of as a traditional Northland area inside I-270, pardon me. As some of you may know, that has been on and off the most dangerous roadway, or one of them in Columbus, along with Morse Road. And not the preferred alternative on the part of the community, but the preferred alternative that is being implemented is to basically close the service roads off from certain types of maneuvering and require people to drive down the side roads, such as Maple Canyon, the street that we're talking about here, and actually go around the traffic circle and come back out to 161 in order to make a maneuver that is effectively a left-hand turn, as I just sort of described it. So that is the reason for this taking place at this location, as well as several other side streets along 161. I suspect you'll see more of this as time goes by, because obviously other frontage is being taken along 161 to implement these traffic circles at a variety of locations.
Are they abandoning those service roads then?
The service roads will remain. You won't be able to take a left-hand turn if you're turning off of 161, the freeway portion of 161, if you will. You'll need to, you can turn right again to continue on the service road. But if you want to make a left-hand turn, you're going to need to go down, do a circle, go around, come back.
How are they going to control that? I mean, if you don't put up a.
Well, there's the medians, I mean, the left-hand turn on the frontage roads.
Yes.
If you notice when you're on 161, somebody's turning left, it blocks the signal. So it was a really cool idea. This is maybe when it first started, but when you delve into it, one of the first frontage roads where you have businesses up front and access behind them. So this is just making U-turns instead of those movements where you see all those pavement markings where people don't comply with them, and it just is going to go through the whole corridor.
Okay, thank you very much.
To be honest, the service road system has not worked well for some years. I think transportation will agree. And this is an effort to sort of improve safety along the corridor. Relevant to what we're discussing today, though, the committee did vote after our meeting on March 30th, 14-1, so it was more or less unanimous to support this application, because as you said, we recognize this as curing an existing problem that was not the applicant's doing. And actually, just as Mr. Reynolds explained, allowing them, if that building should suffer some sort of calamity, allowing them to rebuild at the same footprint without having to seek variance at that time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions from BZA members?
Nope.
Call the question.
Call the question.
Question's been called. Please call the roll.
Mr. Malacco?
Yes.
Mr. Waltley?
Yes.
Mr. Moore's not here. And Chairman Jones.
Yes, the variance is granted.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Good luck, Jack. Come back for more.
Happy to.
BZA 22-029 for 3650 Sunbury Road. Hello.
Hello.
Would you please, you have not been sworn. One more? Are you coming to testify? Just your other hand.
Yeah.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you'll provide is the truth to the best of your knowledge and belief? If so, say I do.
I do.
Thank you. Please indicate your names.
Ryan Winkler?
Elena Cox.
Michael Wentz?
Okay. Thank you very much. Jamie?
Yep. Okay, BJ 22-029, 3650 Sunbury Road is located at the, I believe, north east corner of Cutcher Road and Sunbury Road. The site is zoned I institutional and is within the Northeast Area Commission. The 11.67 acre site is built with a religious facility and associated school. Surrounding uses include single unit dwellings to the north and west, post church and single unit residential development to the east, and a vacant lot to the south. The applicant proposes to add an additional 8 classrooms to the existing school. Variances are to reduce the minimum number of parking spaces from 252 to 200, reduce the building setback on Sunbury Road from 50 feet to 20 feet, and on McCutcheon Road from 50 feet to 12 feet, and reduce the parking setback from McCutcheon Road from 25 feet to 0.5 feet. Planning supports the proposal as the elevations are consistent with the Northeast Area Plan design guidelines. And the revised site plan includes existing and new landscape screening of parking lots from the Sunbury and McCutcheon Road frontages, which are consistent with plan recommendations. The Division of Traffic Management has no outstanding comments, and the Northeast Area Commission recommends approval. City staff can recommend approval as the proposal is consistent with the Northeast Area Plan. The revised site plan includes existing and new landscape screening of parking lots from the Sunbury and McCutcheon Road frontages. We are asking for a condition that the applicant will commit to a stamped site plan and elevation showing landscaping screening of parking lots. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Is this all we have, really?
I inherited this case, so I'm not really sure how it went out, but
All I see is the building. I don't see, yeah. Is it on there?
This.
So you have the recommendation for approval from the city staff as well as the Northeast Area Commission. Is there anything additional that you'd like to add? Okay, anyone from the audience? Hello, please step forward. Is that Peter? Hello, Peter. If you could move so he can sit there, thank you. Have you been sworn?
Yes, I've been sworn.
Okay, please provide your name.
My name is Peter Brooks, and yes, I've been sworn. I'm the resident of 3741 Sunbury Road, which will be directly across the street from where the new proposed buildings are going to be built. I am obviously appreciative of all the services that the church and the school has provided to the neighborhood. And I'm not opposed to them building new schools, but the distance that these buildings are going to be from our homes is going to be much closer than any buildings that are on the rest of the street, and they would become my closest neighbor. One of the reasons why a lot of myself and my neighbors to the south have moved here was because it was a very area where we were a little more private from our neighbors, and we were able to have that sort of privacy and seclusion, even though we're within the city and we're able to get to city services and city activities very easily. Like I said, it just would become something that is going to be right out of our vision of our front yards, and we just are opposed to having it that close to the road, at least on the Sunbury side.
Is there any screening? I mean, I can't really.
I have not seen any proposed drawings or pictures. I know they had some community meetings that I was not able to attend because I was out of town on business.
Okay. Do you guys have a more detailed plan that you could lay out that shows the landscaping and all of that?
Yeah, if I can clarify, and I know Jamie, you had the site, if you could pull up the site plan that you had there. The variances that we are requesting are non-conforming building and parking lot setbacks that are a result of a process that started in 2017 that was already granted to rezone the area from a PUD to institutional. That was passed, I believe, earlier this in 2021.
Yeah.
The construction that we are doing for the addition of the school does not affect the setbacks. These are non-conforming due to the right-of-way take as part of the agreement of the previous variance or the previous rezoning. So now that we're doing construction there, addition to the school, we are requesting approval and the variances due to the existing building that's there, the church building. So there's no additional setback encroachments from the addition. Makes sense?
Not exactly that.
Well, here's the site plan. There's the existing religious facilities here, which is what the building setbacks are to. The existing parking lot is what the parking setback variance are. The school addition, here's the school, and here's the addition. This school is not triggering any parking setbacks.
Okay.
So even if they didn't install the school, if they want to legitimize this building, they would still need those same variances.
It's a condition of the 50-foot right-of-way take of the rezoning that was passed previously.
Okay, so is that Sunbury Road on the top left corner?
Yes.
Okay, and that to the right of that, right to your up, is that a new parking lot?
That's existing.
That's existing.
We are not adding parking on the building to the south portion of the school.
So as I'm guessing on this, you're not building anything on the Sunbury Road side.
Correct.
Sure.
There's nothing being built there.
So
So
this
you're building onto the existing side of the school then?
Correct.
Okay.
on McCutcheon
On
side.
the McCutcheon side, okay.
Hutchins right here.
That makes me.
This is existing.
Again, I apologize, I couldn't contact you guys sooner.
So am I good to vote on this, Peter?
I guess my only other question was, is granting these variances, would that allow them in the future to build buildings that close without any additional improvement?
Not buildings.
Yeah, not buildings. Or not parking either. Legitimizing what's there.
So basically, you can go further northeast, but don't go north.
Well, what we can do is to ensure that, we can stamp this plan. So if they did want to put a building down here that would be closer than 10 feet, they'd have to come back and get another.
Yeah, if you could do that, so I can stamp that plan.
Sure.
Anybody else that would like to speak for or against this proposal? Okay, so you've heard the concerns from the neighbor. We're good with those. Anyone want to call the question?
I'll call the question.
Question's been called. Please call the roll.
Mr. Wobbly,
Yes.
Morrison here, Ms. Maleta,
Yes.
Chairman Jones.
Yes, variances are granted, and I am Peter's neighbor. That's why he's saying those things. So, thank you.
You're unfair.
I bought that land from Kurt.
You did.
Yeah.
Michael sold me mine, so.
Yeah, I sold him his house too, and the house. Yeah, everybody. Okay. Are you here for Spiegel? Is that you?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't see you earlier.
Outside, it was kind of crowded, I was.
No worries. BZA 22-030. Please provide your name and indicate whether or not you've been sworn.
My name is Romaine Howe, and no, I have not been sworn.
Would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you provide is the truth to the best of your knowledge and belief? If so, say I do.
I do.
Very good. Jamie?
And
I was gonna say.
I heard that, but I wasn't going to react publicly.
All right, BZA 22-030, 2200 Spiegel Drive is located at the northeast corner of Spiegel Drive and Shook Road, site of Zone M Manufacturing, and is located within the far south Columbus Area Commission. This site may seem somewhat familiar to you, as it's been before the board a few times for a special permit request for a portable building. You have proposed moving, they were approved for a portable building. Let's just go down to the site plan. for portable building, I guess along Spiegel Drive, which is here, right about here. What they want to do is move it around the corner to this end here. So it requires a new special permit. But they have since applying, have wanted to move it again. So this was the location of the original application, and moving it back to where the blue section is. And I'm not sure why this is even highlighted. Maybe Mr. Howell, when that the yellow.
Just show another trailer. It's a trailer.
Oh, okay. That one, your employees aren't going to go in there.
No.
Oh, okay.
I was just showing you the spacing between them.
Oh, got it. Okay. So yeah, proposal is for a special permit for a portable building. Staff recommend approval of the portable building will be temporary. I believe we're requesting a maximum time limit of 6 months for the board order, but you've been here like 4 times now. Do you want to go longer than 6 months, or is there a reason why you can't do a permanent building?
No, 6 months is great because we're doing a permit now. There's another permit going on and then we're constructing right now. So this is the last one.
So Mr. Howell, just ask for a fee.
That's for you.
Yeah, there we go.
Keep me out of here.
Is that good, Jamie?
Sure. All right, I'll call the question for 1 year.
Okay, I know Peter's not here for this, so please call the roll.
Mr. Moore? Yes. Mr. Morocco?
Yes.
Mr. Walden?
Yes.
And Chairman Jones?
Yes, variance is granted. Our special permit is granted for 1 year. Good luck with your permanent building. Thank you. Thank you. Jamie, I need these case numbers.
Sure. If it's possible, but we didn't have our package. If anyone has a spare packet to spare.
Here's a spare packet to spare.
Oh, that one, yeah. We'll pull some of the site plans out of that. But I think
I wanted to stamp their plan. Do we have that?
you get it right. If you want to end the meeting.
Yes, the meeting's over.
Case closed.
Case closed.
Slam the gap.
Right here. Hospital, right here. I'm sorry.
I said I didn't know either.
Oh, they're gonna keep it for a while. Yeah, I was gonna. The doctor called me. Yeah, and. It's Sunday, and it's, you call, they don't respond, then I have to call back, they don't call back. Well, what I thought we were gonna get this off. Move back. But I mean, like, they don't watch the 26, they're doing stuff, and that's what we're doing. You're right, right off. And I found it was 5 documents, we were not actually looked after 4:30. Yeah. Oh, but I got things. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I was way off. I said 17.
For today?
Don't mess with me, bro. I get it done.
I know.
Where do you want to?
Anywhere that's not on the plan, but like kind of grayish. Just, darken it.
It was kind of creepy the way he called you out, right? I was like, what was that guy's name?
So I mean, I was like, I just on this before.
Just so we can see that. In case of perfect, that's perfect. So there's some, a little bit of, I think.
It was just kind of weird, just like,
few of those cases.
okay, Peter is, or I don't know what he said, but I was looking at him, he was a little like startled, and I'm like, why does he know his name? Maybe they got a letter from this guy before.
David.
I hope that.
Yeah.
It's not a condition of hearing.
That's what he wants, and then he's looking at you.
Same thing, it's just a side yard.
Well, I'm not.
Yeah.
I would like.
Oh, Sunbury, that's 22-029.
And she like, when she walked.
Was there another one that we, I think the other ones were fine, so there was just rear yards, but.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything. Well, there was one more.
There was one like a side yard, but if we make them get to the easement, that's all we're going to do.
As long as you remember.
Yeah, I will.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, excellent job.
Thank you. You know, I was looking out there, so, I'm looking at 1 million people any given time. All right. And I was like, oh, he looks familiar. You know, yeah, one of those terms that you see seldom, and then as the night kept going,